Hey guys, it's Sam here. I'm making a video to show some basic tackle gear for all you new guys out there for the Maumee River walleye run. Now, when I was starting out doing fishing for the walleye run, I didn't really know what to use. So I thought it'd be easier to clear some questions up for some guys that are new, or maybe you've done it a couple of times and you weren't very successful. So here we go. Hope you enjoy this. Alright. On the river here, what we're using is mostly a floating jig head. Now, you can buy these at the local bait shop, either Maumee bait, tackle, or even Jan's. But to give you an idea of the size that I prefer to use, it's the smaller of the two. I think we call it a medium size. And it's just a preference. Alright? The other thing that's really important that we use is a weight system with a swivel on either side. I find it more convenient to get these style of weights. As you can see, there's a weight with a swivel on each end. That way it's less things for me to have to deal with. I got various sizes here, and it's all dependent upon the current and the water level. We got everything from like half, 3/4, 5/8. These three are the ones that you'll probably end up using the most. But I even got the small ones when the river's running real low. I got 1/4, 3/8. But like I said, these three, the 3/4, 5/8, halves, those are probably what you'll use the most. Depending on where I'm at on the river and the situation, I don't usually go through more than a couple a day, so don't feel like you need to have this much. This is probably good for the next couple of years. Same with all these jig heads. I probably won't use them all this season, but I have them good for next season. The last thing we like to use, obviously, is our twister tail. Personally, I like just using a 3-inch twister. See, I got these ones from, a few years ago. Different colors, various colors, different brands. Personally, I don't feel that color is a huge difference to these walleye. You'll notice that in their belly they don't really have any food. They're here to spawn, and the only reason why they're biting out our lures is I think they're just defending their bed. I don't know if that's 100% what's going on, but it seems to be what I found works. Now what we do is we go ahead and we make a leader up, and a lot of guys, they'll go ahead and pre-rig all this stuff and then they'll wrap it on one of these Lindy rig holders, and I'll go ahead and show you guys how I do that. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and make this leader. Got the camera tilted a little bit so I can show you guys exactly what I'm doing when I'm tying these, alright? So I'm going to go ahead and start out by setting my jig up. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with these floating jigs, it's alright. There's no difference between, putting the worm on here between the floating and a lead head. Same concept. Now you just go ahead and there you go. Nothing special there. Pushing on up. Now what a lot of guys like to do is they like to put a little dab of super glue on there. And personally, I don't do it because in the event that, hey, something happens to your worm, you can still reuse this jig head. But I said, preference. I've never really had any problems with them slipping off. If they do, they just maybe like this, and then I just push them back up. Not a big deal. Alright? Something that I always carry with me when I'm at home, or even sometimes out there, always got one of these little eyelet cleaners. They save a lot of time. Just make sure you get the paint off there. Simple as that. They're like $3 at your bait shop. Alright? Now there's been a lot of debate on what size, length of leader you need. Some people say it's 6 foot and 4 foot. I don't care. I personally just use a wingspan, both arms, and that's good enough for me. Some tools that I like carrying with me when I'm out on the water is I always have like a clippers of some sort. I took the little thing out here because it's a lot easier just for me to go like that. I always have some pliers or hemostat, and I usually carry a small knife. What I like to do personally is I put them all in a lanyard, one of those retractable ones, on my waders. That way I can just pull them out. I have shotgun style waders You know, you could put the shells in. So I kind of just stick my tools right in there, pull it all out. You know, if I need to use the pliers to get a hook off of a fouled fish, or if I need to use my knife to cut a leader or something, you know, I'm good to go. So let's go ahead and continue. What I like to do here is I make a loop and I just knot it on itself. And you'll see why I do this if you're not really familiar. Alright, that's pretty strong. Now, people always are debating on what size leader to use. You know, preference once again. I'm using a 10-pound, like a trilene, trilene extra tough mono. And then my main line is Power Pro 12-pound. Preference, I had the Fire line. I didn't like it. And I'm a big die-hard Berkeley person because I, you know, grew up in Iowa. So about 30 minutes from the factory. So, you know, like I said, preference. Some people are going to say, hey, you just use a mono line, you know, get away from that braided stuff. I've never had a problem with the braided ever. I don't think I've ever broken it. I'll break the leaders, but that's the point. You want your leader to be a smaller weight than your main line, because the idea is, hey, you just want to lose this leader. If you're going to lose something, you don't want to lose your weight and, you know, cause a big mess out there in the river. It's already, I guarantee you, it's already a little crazy out there. But that's the idea. You just want to make it where your leader can break, but strong enough where you can obviously still keep your fish if you catch a fish. So we're going to go ahead and make a trilene knot. If you don't know how to make a trilene knot, I'm going to do my best to show you. What you do is you kind of wrap it around a few times. You know, some people like to double loop it. Personally, I don't care. Then, after you wrapped it around a few times, you run it through this eyelet loop that I made, and then back through here. Alright, and what you do is you just pull that tight all the way down. Beautiful. Alright, I don't know if the camera could pick that up. Beautiful. Alright, and you just go ahead and trim off that excess. There you go. Nothing major, fancy. That'll do. You know, that'll do. So now I have this long leader with this on the end. So what you do is you just kind of hold this down, wrap your line around it, just like this, stick it in, good to go. Alright, you'll fill up this entire thing, maybe have a couple with you. You just stick it right there in your waders, just like I do. You know, like nothing too fancy. Some guys, they don't like these, they like using a vest. Whatever, it's preference. But for you newer guys, if you just completely clueless, you know, this is a good start. I've even seen some people kind of drill and super glue on those eyelets here so they don't lose it. I might actually do that myself. It's kind of a good idea. So maybe that will get you started. The only other thing I want to cover is some people always ask, what kind of rod do I need? Like I said, I'm a die-hard Berkeley fan, and since they own Pfluger, and I've always liked Pfluger, I have this Triton reel. You know, this is a cheap combo, 60 bucks, your local bait shop, nothing major. It's got 6.6, you know, for your length, medium action, does great. You know, I've had it for 3 seasons now, haven't had any problems. You know, the reason I really like them is since I grew up around Berkeley, I know that, hey, if there is a problem, the reel's messing up, rod breaks, I can send it in and they'll fix it for, I think, for free. So I've never had a problem, but, you know, it's a preference thing. Most people use about 6 foot, 7 foot, somewhere between medium, light. You know, it's a preference. Most people are going to use a spin casting reel. I haven't seen hardly anybody use a bait caster, just because I think it's probably very difficult with all of us standing side by side. But it's fairly simple. For you new guys, I'd say as a tip to not cross too many other people. If you're fishing on the river, if you're fishing on the one side, hey, cast, you know, upstream, I would say about a 9 o'clock, reel at a 1. If you're on the other side of the river, you know, you want to cast it maybe at the 1, reel in at the 9. If everybody did that, a lot less tangles, but it's inevitable. You're going to lose leaders. You're going to get tangled. You're probably going to cuss a lot. It happens. You're probably going to lose a fish. You're going to foul fish. Make sure you throw them back. It's not legal. But, hey, good luck. Hopefully this video helped a little bit. And, fish on, guys.